So, welcome back, ladies and gents. We have reached the halfway point of season 13. As you can see, tonight we're at Abu Dhabi for race 1 with the one-shot qualifying and a 25% race. Race 2 will be at Bahrain, so tonight will be sort of a twilight race type of theme. And I'm joined with Pagani. Hello mate, how you doing?
Not too bad yourself.
Yeah, these tracks can be good for racing, but I know you're not a very big fan of them, so I'm sorry for putting you through this tonight.
These are probably my least two favourite tracks on the calendar, so I am pleased to be in the commentary booth rather than driving. So
Yeah, we feel the pain of all of that's down there tonight. Even though I look at it and I get happy because it's not me instead, but yeah,
I
it's
mean, it
not going
has
to be
been
easy.
known to rain at Abu Dhabi before, so you
Was
never
that
know.
season 9 that happened?
Yes, it was.
So it's not completely ruled out. There's like a 99% chance it won't rain, but for that 1% chance, it's going to make everything fairly interesting.
Well,
So,
just as qualifying starts, for a reference for everybody else, it is FTRL Legal's birthday today, so
it is. I'll be actively trying not to curse him.
I'll be trying to actively to curse him, so, you know.
Well, Lee's threatened to use his unlimited exercise out to come down and beat me up if I curse him, so I'm watching my words tonight. I'd rather not get physically assaulted by Lee Hall.
Nah, he's fine. Big Lee.
He's just a big baby, that's all.
Well, we've got a new driver sitting in the Williams car as a reserve tonight.
We do, that is Matt 316. Well, we just want to point out, onto the podium is P2, so tonight's already off for a bad start.
I mean, I'm trying not to mention him.
So let's have a quick look.
Yeah, we're going to have some interesting battles. I mean, both tracks tonight usually throw up some weird strategies of 50% races, whereas 25% is more than likely going to be a one-stop. And I do believe for this week we have safety car turned off.
Yes, we do. So if there is a massive collision, we won't have to spend a few laps behind the safety car, and it actually allows the drivers to stick with the intended strategy they had. It should make people, I'd say, think more, as I think more prior to the race instead of during the race. So it should be interesting. So we have, I believe that is, let's have a look, onto the podium with P1, the Iceman is in P2, only 2 tenths behind, with Agent Panda in P3, Megatron Lishat in P4 with his Renault, with Katami's P5, Brutus in P6, with Jamie in his Red Bull in P7, Just Mike P8. He is 1 second off the P1 driver. We'll switch back in P9.
Mikey will be happy. Mikey's had some tough races so far this season.
A good start position, I think it'll be a bit more encouraging for him. I think it's a good little start of the night for him. I think he should be happy with that. He's had to try his best to translate into a good race result. So just be waiting for everyone to make the final changes to the setup, and we should be getting ready to go on our formation lap. I'd say I'd have to, in a way, with the fact that you say you hate this track, the one thing I love about it is the twilight, where you've got that transition from the evening to the full night, so I think it does make for a great looking race, but in layout of the track for the drivers, I do feel a bit sorry for them.
Well, what did happen in that session was Zumpy managed to get himself disqualified, so we'll be starting from the back, and he's currently our championship leader.
So that It's going to make his championship just that little bit harder, but he does. It's I'd say a little bit of practice for his fighting through the grid. So we'll definitely be one to have a look as he nearly makes contact with Matt into turn 1 under the formation lap conditions. So we've went through our top 10, so I think we should have a quick little look at the last 8. We've got Junkie Sport in his, I was going to say McLaren, it's a very weird colour, McLaren, it's a Red Bull. He's currently P11, with Guicarp in his Mercedes, he's P12. We've got Donzo in 13, and the birthday boy himself in 14th, that's Lee Cole. AJ is in P15, he's more than likely in a party with Lee, so they'll have that little bit of communication going on. So you've got Agent Panda down in P16 with our reserve driver Matt, he's in P17 rocking that Williams. With Zumpy, a bit of an unfortunate quali, just a little bit of a track extending or a little track cut that's disqualified his lap time. It'll make things a little more tricky for him, but you know, with him being a championship leader, it shouldn't be too much of a problem as long as he gets a nice clean opening lap or 2.
Well, we have 2 cars starting on the medium tyre as FTRL Junkie Sport and Zumpy from the back. Everyone else is on a soft tyre.
They are. So Junkie Sport, he likes to go with a different strategy, doesn't he? He tried that at Japan. He went with the mediums while everybody else was on the soft. And if the safety car would have came out just a little bit later, it actually would have worked wonders for him. So I think he'll be fancying us better tonight, just outside the top 10 with that medium tyre he used. So it's encouraging for him. He's been showing some good pace lately. I think he'll want to try and transform that into a good result as soon as he possibly can.
I was hoping that the Renault team would like fit some balloons to like Lee's roll hoop, but
stick a couple to the exhaust. Bit of flex tape and you're sorted.
But our last few runners are making their way to the grid. It'll be a matter of seconds before those 5 red lights come onto our screen.
So finally, for once, we've got a nice camera angle to start the race. The 5 red lights are out, prolonged, and away we go. A good start from onto the podium, not so good from Nexus. He's got the Renault with Ross on the inside.
It was very nearly 4 wide.
It was indeed. He had 2 wide and another 2 wide. The turn 1 is almost contact with Ross and Pandas. Panda runs a little bit wide, has to back out of the throttle. So very close between the 2. Jamie's getting stuck in with, I believe that's Mike. So it's all starting to go on so far.
Very close cars in that field.
Brutus trying to see if he could find a way down the inside of Panda at the hairpin, but he couldn't quite get it done, so he'll slot in behind on the straight. We've got Lee Collin Junkie both trying to get around each other. Junkie on the outside into the chicane. That's Junkie. He looks like he's just about through.
Well, I think Junkie's board just give Lee the bumps on the way past there. There's a little bit of contact. But
yeah, it's just a little tap. He did actually. He was looking to go on the inside, then he decided he'll fling it to the outside. So it's a little bit of a good move from Junkie there. It's not something I expected, to go from the inside and jump straight to the outside. So a good job from him. Agent Panda starting where, well, currently is where he started. So there's not an awful lot going on at the top 3.
Oh,
so
Agent
just
Panda
pulling their
run
gaps.
wide coming into the last sector. Guy thought about it, but stays behind for now.
Yeah, just waiting for the better opportunity to get through. We flit down again. There's some starting to spread out sort of, a little evenly. So Jamie right on the back of Brutus for P5. So that will be something to keep an eye out for.
Make a couple of shots round.
So not the good start that Ross will be wanting to the first race.
I think
That's
he kept it
dropped
out
him
the
down
wall.
17th. I think he
He
might
has.
have.
He's still got all his front wing. Unfortunately, we've lost Agent Panda on the corner to 4. Like, coming in the right-hander. Which
That's
is...
unfortunate. Don't quite know how that would have happened, but onto the podium, just got a little tap at the back by Nexus Iceman into the chicane on the straight. There's still a second gap between the two, not much has changed with that. So not
if somebody doesn't want to just tap onto the podium and just punch him, like, you know,
the 1 inch punch.
make me happy, but
make Lee happy as well.
oh,
that's the Ferrari Donzo. They're not quite sure who that was on the inside of. Was that on the inside of Junkie? I'm not quite sure. But I'm sure I did see a Red Bull. Can't quite tell. It was one of those in the background things. But that'll be encouraging for I'll call him Ross. Be encouraging for Ross. It's another position for him to get.
Well, Donzo picked up severe wing damage through that, so
that's
an early pit stop.
Yeah, Ross Donzo will have to hit him for a new front wing. I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to bang on a set of medium tyres. So onto the podiums, almost got a second gap to P2, but Cat is in what seems to be a little bit of a battle with Panda. Panda's only 3/10 behind him, so DRS has activated this lap, so Panda will be looking to try and get through fairly soon. They might just be into one of these chicanes.
In a fight between a cat and a panda. I mean, a cat would be the more active, but a panda could just sit on the cat and then it'd be over, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where that analogy has come from. I think you've been watching a bit too much of Martin Brundle's commentary.
But you do have to hug that apex like your favourite granny.
You do. It's if you want to get a move done in this triple chicane, you do need to try and obviously get down the inside and try and hold the chicane as much as you can. There's a little bit of a cut from Panda there. So Mike's just got past Nexus Cat, and that's Cat in the barrier outside the chicane. I think that was a bad time for you to go on board with them. So let's see. Nothing's changed between Panda and Cat, but Panda is very close behind him. So it's getting close between the two.
It appears he's running without driver assist because he locked both front wheels trying to save it, so no ABS, so he's...
So a little bit tough on the brakes. Yeah, some corners around here are quite tough on the good old brakes, so I wouldn't be surprised if for the drivers that don't run ABS, if we see a few lock-ups tonight, it wouldn't be surprising. It's one of those tracks. Obviously with the fair chicane on the back straight, they're trying to stomp on the brakes to get it down from 200 to about 80. So you know, you're going to expect a lot from the brakes.
Cat doesn't. Gets the move done before the braking zone.
Panda is now through, but Cat will have DRS on this straight now, and he's pretty much side by side with Panda. So Panda's going to have to try and hold as far to the inside as he can, but he's actually holding the outside. So we'll see how this works out between the two. So that's Cat back through. He's managed to defend his position well. He's retained P3 for now. I wouldn't be surprised if Panda had another pop.
Managed to make his way through. He's up to P8 now on those medium tyres.
So it's a good job from him. Oh, as he nearly gets a little bit of a wiggle on there. He is on the opposite strategy. So as these soft tyres for switchback will start to drop off in a few laps, this will be prime position for Zumpy to try and capitalise on that. And gain some tyre positions. He is, so he should be putting on a medium tyre, and I'm guessing we'll stay on board to see what he does. So it'll be a bit of an interesting one. He is in the thick of it with Panda, so this does open him up to an undercut to gain some time. So he's put on the medium. But Panda has been showing some strong pace, so it's still a viable thing that he could maybe just pull off the overcut, gain the position. by going a lap longer.
You would think that the soft tyre can do more than 3 laps.
It does seem a bit soon. So I think Cat might have a little bit more tyre wear than he wants, possibly on the rear. There's got quite a few acceleration zones this circuit.
I've just seen Iceman in the inside of onto the podium. Onto the podium was ghosted through the chicane. But Iceman's got DRS for engine now and he's coming up quick onto the back, but
He's having a look.
doesn't go for the move.
Doesn't quite go for it. There's a little bit of a letter of intent, but I don't know if that's going to phase Connor too much.
I was Connor running in the middle of the track, but this is allowing Panda to get close. It was 1.6 seconds, it's now down to 0.9.
So Panda ever closer to the lead. I think he'll be licking his lips at this point. A bit of battling between Iceman and onto the podium. It's slowing him down just a little bit. And they both pit in. There's Panda also pits in. So I don't think there's going to be any jumping in the pit lane. I think that'll be a bit optimistic. So that's onto podium, onto mediums. Panda also onto mediums. And what about Iceman? He is on mediums as well. So pretty much everyone coming in to put on a set of medium tyres. Let's get on board with Cat. Let's see where he is. So he's come out just behind onto the podium. They're both side by side.
Oh, there's better contact with the wheel.
Oh, it's getting close between the two.
Oh, there's more contact.
So Cat's going to try around the outside of the hairpin, maybe go for the cutback. Not quite. You will have DRS.
Should be an easy move.
Bit of argy-bargy between the two onto the podium. He's going as defensive as he possibly can. That's leaving Cat with no other option but for the outside. Looks like he's got it done before the braking zone. That's Cat up into the lead so far. That's very deep from Panda. Almost wiped out Iceman. So a good little bit of thinking from him. He decided to pull off the track. Onto the podium is in the slipstream. He's got the DRS, but I don't know if he can get it down inside. He decides to back out of that one. So that is Cat in a provisional race lead, not in the actual race lead just yet, because some drivers to pit in. So Zumpy is now up into P2.
So these two battling has allowed Iceman to catch right back up with the pair of them.
So whatever time Iceman lost, he's regained, and Panda's got a little more work to do because he blew the advantage yards. He had a massive lock up on that new tyre into the first chicane on the back straight. So that's going to be a little bit of a setback for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he caught back up relatively soon. He has been showing some good pace the last few laps on those soft tyres.
Well, our two guys on the alternate strategy, Zumpy and Junkie Spot, are now P1 and P2.
So they'll be happy with where they are currently. Obviously they're going to have a lot less grip than the guys on the fresh tyres, but we'll see where this alternate strategy can take them.
Panda's gaining. We're about to have a 4-car train. He pulled half a second in that last sector.
So he's definitely showing some good pace, especially with this battling going on. We've only
got just outside of DRS. He pulled 4/10 in the first sector.
So Panda's looking like he's trying to get a bit of a move on. Try and close up the gap with a fight between the top three onto the podium, down inside the Cat into the chicane. Let's see. Seems all nice and clear from them so far. I think Cat. No, as Connor just got to the detection line. I think that was last. I'm not too sure. They haven't activated it. But saying that onto the podium's got it. It's 3 wide.
Both of them trying to slow each other up. Just let Iceman get round the outside of the pair of them.
So Iceman will be happy with that double overtake he's got. He's just nabbed the two positions while they're both fighting each other. So a good little bit of racecraft from Iceman. That's got him through up into P3. That'll be P1 when Junkie and Zumpy pit, which Zumpy is doing right now.
Panda is here now. He's part of this fight.
He's here to make things interesting. He's already on the back of onto the podium, so he's looking to get his fists in. So that will...
Zach trying to go on the outside of AJ in the last sector. It gets the move done as AJ's coming into pits.
He's got Zumpy on a set of softs, as I thought. So we've got Iceman pulling a bit of a gap on Cat. He's got 7
He's
tenths.
asking those soft tyres to go quite long into this race.
He is.
It's very easy to overheat the rear tyres around here.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks that's a lot of acceleration zones, so you're putting a lot of energy through the rear tyres. So running the softs around here for longer than normal is a bit risky. So Pan's not much you can do into this chicane, it's a little too far back.
Well, Jamie's trying to get past Brutus, but Brutus is weaving in a straight line to try and break DRS, which I don't like to see.
So we have Iceman just on the back of Junkie, both running the alternate strategy. We have Junkie on the set of mediums from the start. Iceman got quite close to the back of him there. So I'm expecting we'll see Junkie Sport pitting in soon. It is lap 8, it'll be lap 9 in a moment. So I'm expecting he will try and put on that fresh set of soft tyres. Use that to his advantage while everyone's on the slower compound. One's a little deep. There's not much Iceman can do to get through. This is working well for Cat because there was about a 9/10 gap between the two of them. Now that's only closed up to about 4 to 3. That's Junkie Sport peeling off into the pits. He'll be looking to put on a set of softs.
We've officially got a 4-car friend for the lead.
We do, which is what we want to see. Some interesting racing. We've got a few DRS zones with quite long straights. So that's gone to the podium.
And a massive wiggle.
He's lucky to not face south. Yeah, as the podium's lucky not to be facing the wrong way with that. Just about managed to catch it.
Yeah,
so
that's
put him far back.
That right hander, very difficult corner, especially if you overheat the tyres just slightly.
Yeah, the rear end, just when you're trying to flick the car through the long right hander, sometimes the back end decides it wants to face the wrong way. It wants to do the opposite of a compass and face south.
That's dropped onto the podium, down at this 4th place battle now between himself, Brutus and Jamie. So
Connor's, instead of looking forward like he has been, he's now got to look behind himself, as he is doing right now.
Brutus the outside of Iceman. Can't get it done in the chicane.
Brutus has just got passed onto the podium, got on board with this battle between Cat and Iceman. That is Zumpy also through past switch back into the chicane.
In the background, you've got Zumpy on these soft tyres making his way through the field.
So this battling, obviously it's slowing them down, and Zumpy's on the charge, trying to make a recovery from a poor quality. He is on the fresher tyre and the softer tyre. So I'm expecting he should do well. So there's a 1.9 second gap between himself and Jamie. So we'll be closing that up quite quickly. Panzer's right behind Cat.
Zumpy smashed it though. Zumpy's only 1.6 behind this 3-car trend for P4.
But he's just gained half a second on Jamie in the sector, so it's definitely showing the pace that he's running at right now. It's very competitive. I think we'll put the gap onto the leader. We'll put the gap onto the leader and we'll see what the deltas are between Iceman and Zumpy are. Because Zumpy is catching up quite a lot on the other drivers. I think it would be a good idea to have a look at a comparison in speed between the two. There's not much going on between Pandy, couldn't find a way through Cat.
I'm seeing a lot of weaving in a straight line to try and break slipstream.
The slipstream is very powerful around here, so it's no surprise people try and push the limit a little bit just to break it.
Maybe I'm a bit too much of a stickler, but I like to think one move for position and then you stick to that move rather than weaving all over the place. But
it's getting temperature into the tyres.
But Zumpy is now on the back of this 3-car train, so it's now a 4-car train for 4th place. He's in that DRS range. Oh, one of the podium with a massive slide.
Thought he was going to the pits for a minute, but no, he nearly dropped the back of the car, so he's having a little bit of trouble on traction. It's not necessarily according to what I would have expected it, but it's still quite tough to get the gas down here, especially when you're trying to get a push on.
Well, FTRL Cat is slowly falling away from Nexus Iceman. He's outside of DRS range.
Yeah, it's 1.6 seconds currently, so Cat won't have DRS, but Panzer will. So it's going to look like it'll probably be a fairly straightforward move into the chicane, but Cat will be able to use the second DRS zone to fight back into the triple chicane. So not a bad exit.
Currently battle. I don't know what's happened.
Zumpy's in fourth.
Zumpy's gained 4 places through cutting the chicane, I believe, because he's waiting for the 2 cars behind him. I don't know what's happened.
I'm not quite sure. Didn't know if he was trying his impression of a full guy for a minute, but that's Jamie and onto the podium, both side by side, all the way through the triple chicane. Onto the podium, just about comes out of that on top. I think Jamie had to get himself well acquainted to the AstroTurf there.
Well, I think unless he makes a mistake, this race is in Nexus Iceman's hands. He's now got a 2-second gap on Cat.
There's a yellow flag set to 3. I don't know what that's for.
Switchback has had a spin. It's allowed Mikey through.
So Mike will be happy with that. There's a free position for him. Cat and Pan's having to go at it into turn 1. So Pan's just trying to find a way through as soon as he can. He wants to chase down Iceman, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time. It's 2 seconds and there's about 3 laps left, so he's got to catch him, and he's also got to, you know, do the harder part and overtake him.
Well, Zach's come into the pits, aka Switchback, so he has officially bottled another race this season.
It's not much to be surprised about. I think those rear tyres are getting a little bit too hot for him. They're too difficult to control, especially after you've had a bit of a spin around here. But I did say that... Sorry, but I...
Go on. Around the outside of Brutus for P4, those soft tyres coming into their own.
So they are going to be useful. It's a 6.3 second gap to himself and Cat. He's going to have to gain about 3 seconds a lap if he wants to get him. So I think it's going to be a tough one, but that's Cat and Panzer both still going at it into that triple chicane. So very fine margins between the two.
Cat tried to look for the late move at the end of the straight, got his nose down the inside, but Panda defended well.
Jamie's got passed onto the podium, so he's now into P6. But onto the podium, still right on the heels of him. So he's not giving in. There's only 2 laps left. 2 and a bit. As Iceman comes around the final corner to start the penultimate lap. So Panda's got a bit of work to do if he wants to try and close up to him. So we'll go back to the deltas between drivers. We'll go to the intervals. It's 8 tenths between Cat and Panda. It's 1.9 between Iceman and Panda as well. The Zumpy's only 4 tenths off of Brutus. So he's looking at a P5.
Flying on the alternate strategy.
Yeah, just the medium. The soft tyres really working well against that medium for him. So going with the different strategies definitely paid its dividends to him.
He's up 13 places.
Yeah, he's went from P18 to P5 for now, but it's looking like it might be P4 in a moment. He's around the outside of the chicane. He will have the inside on the exit, so he'll be able to get a better.
He gets a very bad run.
Yeah, I was going to say, Zumpy's got a good exit, but Brutus still has that DRS, but the DRS doesn't seem to be enough right now. So I think that's Zumpy just about clearing Brutus. He's now in P4, a 40 position gain from the start position.
Oh, Panda hasn't really gained the Nexus Iceman.
No, it's fluctuating.
Right on the back of Panda.
Yeah, just 4 tenths separating Panda and Cat. The gap's been kind of fluctuating. He'll gain 2 tenths, then he'll lose 2 tenths. And it just seems to be in a little bit of a yo-yo. So I don't think, as long as Iceman doesn't make a massive mistake, this race win looks like it could be in the bag for him. But Cat's dropped off about 4 tenths, so I don't know if he got a bit of oversteer into turn 1 or the last corner. So I think Cat, he's gonna just be within the DRS, but it's looking like he's dropping out. He's 1.1 second from Panda.
I'm
so
looking
Cat
at
DRS, and he's low on fuel too.
the back end of the grid, because obviously we have a reverse grid for the next race, and you've got switchback in P14 in this race.
So he'll be starting P3. And that'll be at Bahrain. I don't know how he gets on at Bahrain. I'm expecting it's going to be a bit of a tricky one for a few of them. It's got some similarities to this track with the heavy braking zones.
Oh,
That's Donzo's gone.
on the last lap.
That's at the same spot that Agent Panda done it.
Well, switchback has set fastest first sector this lap, and he's right on the back of AJ.
He is. He'll be trying. Oh, there's almost over into the back of him there on the straight. That's looking like he'll be in front even before the braking zone begins. So that's looking like that'll be switched back in P13. I wouldn't be surprised if he's lighting up the sector sheets, because he has got a nice fresh set of medium softs.
You've got Nexus Iceman coming around the final corner to win here in Abu Dhabi.
I think that's his first race win this season. Panda OL 4 P2 with Cat in P3. Brutus in P4 actually got back past Zumpy. That was actually on track, so I don't know if Zumpy made a mistake. So that's a little unfortunate for Zumpy.
Had an unserved 5-second penalty, so I want to guess he's sped in pit lane. Or...
Okay.
Junkie Sport,
that's Junkie.
Retired at the last sector.
He's bottled it 2 corners from the end. He's just out of there to the last corner. He's just ran a little bit wide. That is a tyre gone. So it's not the night for Junkie, unfortunately. He was going so well, and there's Lee Cole just fending off Switchback. He is going to actually... Switchback's got passed on penalties. That's Lee Cole in P12. A bit of a quiet race from Lee.
I mean, he's probably already started drinking for it being his birthday.
Yeah, he's probably had a few cans of rum already.
No, I did have a chat with Lee earlier, and he said he's been doing work all day, so yeah, he hasn't really had a fun birthday. So.
Oh. Well,
he's hoping we can have a good race in the next one.
I'm sure when the weekend comes, you'll think of something to
do. Probably realise that he's driving a Lamborghini manufacturers and start crying.
Yeah. Sad times for Lee. Sad times. But I've got a very hateful comment in the chat. I think it's directed at me from Peteman. He's saying there's got to be at least one Michael C. Jinx tonight, and I feel a bit bad that he's put my only skill down to being there. Apart from my, fantastic commentary, but it is what it is.
I mean, I'd take it as a compliment. He's saying you actually have a skill.
There's times I don't know why I do comments with you. So we've got Iceman taking his first race win with Panda in P2 and that McLaren. A good race from Cat, that's got him in P3 with Brutus in P4. Then unsafe 5-second penalty drops Zumpy back into P5. A good comeback nonetheless. With an unfortunate race from onto the podium, he's went from P1 back down to P6, just in front of Jamie, who's in P7.
So, I mean, I did have a quick look onto the podium through that race, and it appeared he made 2 self-induced mistakes in that race, and both cost him heavily.
So it's a bit of an unfortunate race for onto the podium tonight. He won't be that happy with the first race result. But everything will be flipped on its head in terms of positions. Obviously, Iceman will be starting from the back, and then we'll have Panda starting just in front of him. So he'll be running a reverse grid for Bahrain.
Well, I mean, if you're going to run a reverse grid anywhere, Bahrain's as good as any, I suppose.
Yeah, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities. If you don't get the move done with the DRS into turn 1, you've always got turn 4 to get it done, because there's a second DRS straight on. A second DRS straight on this game. So it aids overtaking a bit.
But we do tend to have very good races at Bahrain.
We do. There's some interesting
I
ones.
know
Last season,
yeah,
Mike
in
taking
Div
his
1
first
it
race
was,
win.
what was it, Div 2 was mighty, but Div 1 you had Aaron steaming in there, in a reserve capacity, and very nearly won the race. He was in the lead for, I think, 0.2 of a second on the last lap until he crashed, so...
Well, that's Aaron for you, isn't it?
You've got Carl in the chat asking if you jinxed him on the last lap of that race.
Carl, I didn't say a word. I didn't say anything. I want a teammate to return to when I come back to GT. No. No, Carl's safe from me tonight. But
Nick is Iceman saying what a move in the chat, so he's quite happy with his own performance after that race, it looks like.
He'll be happy. They've shown some good pace in the first race, so you'll be hoping he can carry that on into race 2 and gain a good few positions. It's not difficult to do around here.
Wasn't the best race for the Renault team after that first one, but I mean, obviously Ross, aka Megatron, had that very large spin coming out of turn 3.
It is.
But Lee managed to survive a race and keep all 4 wheels on his car, so I say it wasn't the best race, but I mean, it's probably the best race they've had. They've had 2 cars finish the race, so...
To Lee's standards, it's like a win. For quoting Grosjean.
Oh, well, Carl has a plea, I think.
Yes.
If he's on the air in race 2, keep your mouth shut. So,
He's just asking me he's just asking for me to jinx him on purpose, isn't he?
It would PSO, yes.
Yeah. So I think Mike will be looking for a good result here. Last season he did manage to take his first race win around here. So he'll be looking to try and get another good result. Obviously we are running like Div 1 and Div 2 in the same race, so he's going to have a bit of a stronger position, but I have no doubt that he'll be fighting as hard as he can.
Our championship competitors, I mean, Zumpy started from the back but finished in 5th. And I think it was 1 point between Panda and Cat in 2nd and 3rd, and they finished 2nd and 3rd in the race, so...
It's definitely close between the two.
Our championship protagonists have been very close this season.
We've had a lot of close racing this season in general, so it should shape up to have a fairly good championship battle. So we'll have a quick look at the standings coming into both of tonight's races. This is based on the last 2 from last night. We had Zumpy leading the way on 117 points, 4 points ahead of Cat, who's got 113, and Panda is just behind Cat with 111. But I would also like to point out that Ross, aka Megatron, he's actually very close to being P3 in the standings. Based on last week's races, he's 1 point off of P3. But obviously, there was a bit of a gap in the positions tonight between Panda and Ross, so I expect that gap would have went up just a little bit. But I also think, with the differences in points, that Panda might just about be in front of Cat and Zumpy. So I think Panda is currently leading the championship, if I'm not completely wrong.
I'm not going to even attempt to do maths.
I need to memorise the points, because I cannot remember them for the life of me. I wouldn't be very good at taking Martin Brundle's job, boys. Quite low standards.
Well, the good news for everybody is it looked quite dry at Bahrain.
Yes, so they're safe from a wet race tonight.
I mean, I would have laughed quite loudly if it did rain, because
yes, so
not one person in the grid would have had a wet setup.
Yeah,
so.
No one at all. No one at all. I think with tracks like these, if you get some wet weather, it's going to throw up complete mayhem. There's no one's going to expect it, they're not going to know how to handle it, and you can't really blame them.
We've got 13 people watching the stream.
Well, and then the big views tonight.
What's it? Compared to last week, it's quite a lot of you, so thank you for tuning in.
I did
Feel
cheekily
free.
put it in the GT Sport bomb, by the way.
Like I said, feel free to drop a like on the
Yeah.
stream. It helps us out. And, I mean, it lets us know that you enjoy listening to us too, which, I mean,
Don't know
I'm
why you
surprised
would.
anybody does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But we've got Pete in here, he's a big fan, so I don't know what attraction Pete sees in it.
No, I think Pete is quite literally the largest fan of FTRL. Like,
Yeah, he is. He's
whenever
in
we
a heavy
do
stream.
anything, he tunes in. He is special.
He is, he's a little part of the heart of FTRL. He's always popping in saying hi, begging me to jinx someone.
Well, on my screen, we're waiting on the birthday boy.
Yes, just waiting for Lee to load in.
Oh no.
Junkie Sport has lagged out, I think.
Oh no.
Oh, what's going on now?
I mean, I hate to say it, but I think this lobby might be glitched now.
Yeah. Well, this is a Cody's game after all. What much do you expect? Yeah, onto the podium in the Discord, restarting the lobby. So we're gonna have to listen to us babble on for a bit while everything gets sorted out again, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, touch wood. I mean, I didn't see many crashes in that first race, so
No,
I
just a
think
little
my
bumps of contact.
job as a steward might be quite quiet so far. So
Well, Mo, you'll be like the Lennon of the stewards tonight. You won't be doing anything.
well, I mean, Tom's come up with some interesting conversation topics for us, saying what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Well, chicken does come from an egg, so I'd say the egg.
I mean,
But then, how did you get
egg.
the first chicken? Do you know what I mean? How did the chicken start off? You've got to get the chicken from somewhere.
I mean, I
God damn
can't
it.
say I've ever anticipated an F1 league racing stream be talking about a chicken and an egg, but yeah, that's your fault, Tom.
Yeah, it's always Tom's fault. It's one of the two.
But I'm hoping something happens because at the moment I can't come out with this lobby screen, so...
Oh god. Let's see if I can get out. Oh, I can get out. Thank god. So I think once we get a new lobby in, we'll try and invite it in, see if we can get it in that way.
Yeah, I mean, if not, I'll just sit here and stare at the bar in pit lane.
Yeah, it's probably quite interesting, that pit lane.
Well, I've seen a young T. Smith doing some lobbies on Assetto Corsa earlier today, and I saw him attempt a pit entry because it's manual on there, and he ran his pit crew over, so...
Not surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see him in a real race car. It'd be quite dangerous. I am trying as hard as I can right now not to delve deep into the topic of what Tom brought up in the chat. So, I think Cat is still in front of Panda in the standings because it goes from P20, P1 getting 20 points down to P20 getting 1 point. So, I would say Zumpi's now in P3 with Cat in P1, God forbid, and Panda in P2.
Yeah. I mean, we'll go with that.
My quick maths are on point.
However, just like in the small print, just acknowledge to everybody that is a Scouser's maths, ladies and gentlemen. So,
sorry, but just because I'm Scouse doesn't mean I'm inherently bad at numbers, even though I've got 11 fingers.
I was going to say to count past 10, you have to take your socks off. So,
I have 11 fingers. I'm special.
Expect it. Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, so have I. Well, I've had my moment to click and spectate instead of ready up. So, oops.
Division 2 race I was commentating on, I took part in the formation lap.
That was your desperate attempt to get some fame.
Actually, to be fair, I think it was Bahrain as well. So, yeah.
So it's coming all full circle for you, Paul. Instead of hitting ready up, you're now hitting spectate for Bahrain. But to come back and fully round off Tom's topic, yeah, the chicken came first.
I mean, we're going to have to take that as your final answer.
It is my final answer. On Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? FTRL version.
The only issue is we only pay like a $5. So.
Yeah, well, to some people it's $1 million.
Like the first question you get 10 pence. And then that's how we start going up, so.
Some very weird transactions going on in some people's PayPal. 10p in, 10p out. I think I get that many questions wrong. I'm paying them to ask me the questions.
I mean, speaking of questions, we did have an FTRL quiz the other day.
Did?
And I do believe that Aaron may well be working on a follow-up to that, so expect to see that.
Now
in brackets, coming soon.
Yes, coming soon. To be revealed. But I'll be brutally honest, I didn't really do that quiz because I have no general knowledge at all. I saw a sports question, I thought, alright, it's not Formula 1, I haven't got a clue what's going on.
I said to the boys, look, I'll take part in the sports round, and that's about it, because I'm not really up to topical information. It's
I sat there and thought, I'm objectively stupid now. So the quiz is bringing a light out of most of us.
Give me questions about touring cars and I'm more than halfway.
Oh yes, we know. Unfortunately, I was going to go and see the touring cars this season, but it's at Alton Park, but unfortunately it's been cancelled, so it's quite devastating.
Yeah, there's always next year.
Yeah, there's always next year. It's interesting because we've got Lewis Hamilton's brother there, Nicholas Hamilton, in a British Touring Car Championship. So he unfortunately did have to. Obviously, he didn't complete the entire of the season. He did have to unfortunately back out because of financials. But
I believe
he'll be hoping to get a full season next season.
Took part in the last virtual GP, but he did get beat by a footballer. So,
well, yeah. We'll question who's the footballer in the Red Bull? I can't remember his name. I know nothing about football.
I think it was Sergio Aguero, but I'm not sure.
I think it was Sergio Aguero.
I didn't watch it, to be fair.
He must have been watching Connor's videos with the defending from him. So very aggressive defending.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of virtual GP.
I'm not either. I just saw the clip on Twitter. It's making life hard for Jambo Wangleball.
If you watch like the V8 Supercars E-Series, it looks perfect. They got official commentators, official drivers, and it's taken seriously, well, semi-seriously. And then you get F1 and they've got a singer, a golfer, a footballer.
I'll have Gordon Ramsay in next. Screaming the roar cold tyres.
Well, Tom says it was Roy Keane. I think Tom, if it was Roy Keane, he'd have punched the screen. Probably drop kicked his router. And then you've got Carl saying football puts him to sleep. Well, the next time you're struggling to sleep, just watch some football and you go to sleep.
Yes. Yes.
How helpful am I? Not very.
Sorry?
I'm not particularly helpful.
No. You have your moments. But Peatman is rooting for Team Donzo.
Well,
so we know where Peatman's cards are lying tonight.
I'm not surprised with that, as he is teaming with Donzo in our GT2 league, which will be starting up again tomorrow. So, yeah.
It should be a good season. They have wet races this season, I believe. Am I right?
They do indeed.
So the skills they've developed last season are going to be put to the test this season.
I don't think you took part in the wet races last season, did you?
No, no, I didn't.
No. So
There was a reason, but I can't remember. My
yeah,
brain
one of
span's too low.
the reason was one of the races was Spa, and he didn't want the humiliation again.
Do you know what? I
That's
was
that
looking forward to Spa because I was doing practice for that. And then, you know, I couldn't race. I was quite gutted. But then there's, yeah, I came back and done terrible, as per usual.
Yeah. Well, he's hoping that mini sabbatical sort of.
Yeah. I doubt it. I'll probably be worse. I won't play for 9 weeks. I'll come back on GT Sport and go, oh, there's a steering wheel.
Yeah. Pete took part in the wet races last season, and judging by the faces after the comment. Yeah. I mean, at one point, Pete, I was waving at you through my windscreen, and you were looking at me through your side window. That's how sideways I was. Unfortunately, it was at the top of Radion, and a little bit of poo came out. Yeah, that wasn't fun.
I did see the clip of that. Yeah, I got a bit nervous for you. I was almost going to be a crash. I saw that clip you put up and thought, oh, that's going to be a length. Before you went, thought, well, that's a lengthy steward report. Aged about man is not to kill anybody. So, I was thinking of the poor stewards, but they saved them a lot of work with that moment.
Right, there's someone not in this lobby. I'm not sure who it is.
There isn't. Let's have a look.
It is Catamates.
Yes. You were a lot quicker than me to figure that out. I was going to read everyone's name and see if there was a name I couldn't remember. So we will have Agent Panda. Switchback has gone.
That's not good because he's the host of the lobby, so.
Oh god. So we've got Panda in P1 with Nexus Cats in P2. He's also got his reserve teammate. What's going on?
Panda's left as well. Does that mean we're restarting again? I'm not sure.
Please, no. I think we're restarting again.
It looks like we're restarting again. But please tell me that they realised before I said that Cat wasn't here.
The cat's not here.
Please tell me someone realised that.
Oh no. Okay, so.
Well, Catamese has just put I'm not on the grid in the chat.
Yeah. So, I think Junkie Sport will fall asleep by the time we get this Bahrain GP started.
Fall asleep? I mean, we'd be lucky to still be alive at this rate by the time we keep going. Sorry, Carl.
That's not very nice. I won't question the validity of the statement, but I will say it's not very nice.
But yeah, we have this brief hiatus as we're starting once again.
You will have a very angry message from Carl sometime tonight.
I'm used to it.
Same.
What I will say is that yes, we are starting GT. We had the Nations Cup yesterday. That seemed to go down very well. We had Lee commentating on that. We have GT2 starting tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock. And I believe Aaron is doing the commentary on that, but don't hold me to it. We've got a couple of guys that were in GT1 last season coming down. So, and obviously the top 4 from last season GT have gone up to GT1, so it'll be interesting to see what those 4 guys from GT1 do in GT2 this season. On Friday, so 8 o'clock again.
So, for the lads tomorrow that are starting GT2, I don't know what grudge yous have against them, but they're running Alsace for race 1 and Autopolis for race 2. So I don't know who's annoyed you to give them those tracks, but it'll be tough ones for them.
To be fair, the 2 tracks I don't mind, but like Autopolis is a little bit squiggly. But
so
I mean, I voted to put Alsace in the GT1 grid, but yeah, I got out with all this time. So yeah.
So if
But
we just have a quick little look at the GT1 calendar for Friday, we have the BTEC BTEC Catalunya with Blue Moon in Field A, and the Circuit de Hash Brown, the Blue Moon Speedway, for races 1 and 2. So it's going to be tough to gauge everyone's pace in the first couple of rounds. You won't exactly know.
Like I said, GT2 had Blue Moon Speedway last season. I think we've run it a couple of times overall in GT, so it's just nice to have a bit of power once in a while.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to feel you can't actually go at speed.
But yeah, I mean, while we quickly wait to see what's happening, see if everybody's in the lobby, we had real life F1 news on Monday.
I wanted to cry when I saw that.
Yeah, not
I'm a Seb
renewing the
fan.
contract with Ferrari, so the question is, I mean, it's looking like Carlos Sainz will be replacing him at Ferrari by what I've read so far.
No, I just want to say, if those two swap, if Vettel and Sainz swap, I will freak out in a good way, because I'm a McLaren fan and a Seb fan. It's the perfect merge for me.
I've seen things that Ricciardo might be going to McLaren.
No, please don't. Please don't do it to me.
Which leaves that spot at Renault, which Vettel might retire, and
I don't
leaves the
expect
way
Vettel to take
open either for Alonso to come back, but I can't see that happening, or possibly Hulkenberg. You know, dude that bottled every chance at the podium he's ever had.
Yeah, I think. I know I'm probably going to get kicked. Actually, no, I'm not going to say. Connor will kick me for it. You can probably gauge what I'm going to say by what I've just said.
Oh, well, Peteman's asked for predictions for the GT2 season. Well,
to be able to do that, I need to know who's driving in it. I don't quite know. It'll be tight, because it was last season.
With the car choices everybody's got, it could go any which way. But if I had to stick my neck out and say top three, gonna be bold. I mean, my guesses usually are quite bold. I think Steph's going to win it. Andy P2 and Peteman in third. Yeah, that's for championship season, not just tomorrow's races.
Is there a way I can see the driver lineups for GT2 and 1?
Just go on the GT2 track and just see who's online. Everyone who's in that chat is in red.
Oh, okay. Ah, yes, okay. So we've got the likes of SBY, Steph, and Safe Elise and Zombie. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. The racing has been quite close between a lot of them. So I think Cats did show good pace through quite a few points of last season, so I'm expecting him to be up there, obviously gaining that experience of driving the game a lot more. I'm expecting he will be up there challenging for some podiums, if not maybe the race winner too. So I'm not the best person to ask about GT2.
I mean, you're the worst person to ask about anything GT related.
Yes. Not the worst. There's worse. If you look far enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would say Switchback, but he doesn't A, play the game enough, or B, not bottle it. So sorry for that. I'm going to get a lot of angry messages tonight.
Yeah, you're slating everyone tonight, aren't you?
You got Agent Panda saying he doesn't want to be on pole. My advice is run away as fast as possible. Just don't look behind you, because there's a lot of angry cars behind you.
Yes, or trying to find the way through.
Well, will this be third time lucky?
Hopefully. I mean, my lucky number's 25, so that's not going to help us getting it. It's going to be on 25.
I've just changed my race number this season to 26, so... Yeah.
See, you just knew you couldn't use 25 because of me, and just
Well,
had to go with one.
I've just got to be one better than you. That's all it is.
Well, technically, in terms of racing, the higher I know, the lower down the grid you are. So technically, that means I'm doing better than you, and I'm not even racing.
So you're saying that Lewis
Jokes on you.
Hamilton running 44 is 44 times worse than...
This is a video game, by the way, Paul. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just pointing out your point.
Well, it's just me being optimistic, trying to find a way to be better than you at something.
Yeah. Keep trying.
I'll get there eventually.
Right, well, even from my basic maths, we have 18 cars on the grid this time, so that's an improvement.
We had 18 cars last race that we actually raced. So we've got the right amount of people in. Unfortunately, you've got us two on comms as well, so that's everyone accounted for.
Yeah. I was going to say, everybody else is racing in F1, so you're stuck with us too.
Yeah.
No flip.
It's a good luck, yeah. Well, you did bite the bullet and re-download the game, so you've only got yourself to blame for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've saved you. You could just have Michael, so...
You're welcome. So, we have Agent Panda P1 in the McLaren. We've got Nexus Cat in P2 with his teammate Matt in P3 is replacing Iviar Sam tonight. We've got Donzo in P4 in his Ferrari. There'll be a good start spot for him with Junkie Sports in P5. He's still awake, so he hasn't fell asleep in the interval. I was going to say Junkie Sport in 6th. Lee Cole in 6th. He'll be looking to not bottle it. We've got Switchback in P7 in his Mercedes. AJ in P8 in his Haas. It says on the side of the card, I don't know why I struggle to get the word out. Got Ross in P9 in the Renault. I think the back of the grid's all started to bunch up now, so I don't know if that's Lee holding everyone up a little bit like usual.
It usually is.
Yeah, it's Lee's just being cheeky as usual.
I mean,
So
Nexus has had enough of it and just gone straight past everyone.
Yeah, you got Guicarp in P10 with Mike in P11. He did win around in GT2 in F2 last season. We have Jamie in P12 onto the podium in P13. He's got a bit of work to do. Zumpy in P14 just behind onto the podium. Brutus 15th. Cat is in 16th with Panda 17th. And Iceman waiting on the grid for everyone to line up. He's in P18.
Oh, so I think Iceman told his team he wanted a cup of tea before race start, so he's just floored it round and had a cuppa on the grid.
But you can't blame him. Yeah, everyone needs a cuppa. The Leeds entry messages get the kettle on parched, so. Five red lights are out, and we are a go. Nexus Cat has got a good start. He's pretty much side by side with Agent Panda already. So he'll be looking to get down the inside of turn 1. That's Lee going down the inside. He's cutting it tight between them. There's no damage, luckily. Bit of contact. That's Junkie Sport gone round in the circle. No, it's not. It's Jamie who's gone round the circle. Junkie Sport's merging with AJ. So I don't know what's going on here.
On the podium's had something happen in that first sector. Catman's got wing damage.
He does. Onto the podium's lucky to not have any wing damage. He's got around outside the cat, who's turned the car around. He was facing west for a minute. Had a picture of compass in my head.
Mikey's got wing damage as well.
So we've got AJ getting down the inside of Matt. Well, trying to anyway. Couldn't quite get it. There's Junkie Sport going down the inside of AJ into turn 9 and 10. That's a good move from him. AJ's trying to switch back, can't quite get it done on the traction. There's a Red Bull turns around. No, it's not. It's a Toro Rosso. That is Iceman. He's been turned around. There's front wing and 40. That's what a cat's gone. Yes,
Cat's
switch.
got damage. Goy's got damage.
Yeah. Who else has? Panda's got through
Oh,
safe.
AJ's out.
As he lost to the Benzal corner.
I think it was both Haas cars.
Yeah, that's got to be a side by side. Just went wrong.
Right, officially, Agent Panda started on pole and has led the first lap.
So Panda,
And got fastest lap, obviously, because he was the first car, but Agent Panda has done all three things. I'm so proud.
we're all proud of him. We should give him a cookie after the race. Think he'll deserve it.
Yeah, we've got three cars in the pits early, an early retirement from the Haas and AJ.
So Agent Panda is actually pulling out a bit on karts, and look at him. He's all grown up. He set the fastest sector 1.
I mean, he was the first one through it, but yeah, he has.
No, with me, but everyone else has gone through. He's still quicker through it. Well, that's next as Cats.
Oh,
He's
there's a
right
bit
at
of
the
wing
back.
damage.
For who?
That was Ross. He's tagged the back of Brutus.
Oh, Cats just putting the nose down inside the 10. So he's trying to find any way through he can, just to get a gap from Switchback, but Agent Panda, he's not having any of it. He's not going to be an embarrassment tonight. He's going for it.
Switchback already P3 looking menacing.
He's trying to find a way past Nexus Cats. And Cats is losing time from Panda.
Oh, but you had a flag.
Panda. His Junkie Sports got a penalty. I think that was one of the McLarens. I think that might have been.
Junkie
Panda
Sport
a
is
little bit
well
over.
off track. He's been playing too much dirt rally.
Yep, he is in the gravel. Now, if he was on dirt rally, he'd be on the right part of the track, but this is F1.
I think FTRL Panda had a spin as well going through that second sector.
I think it was just before the Benzal corner, the corner just before that, after the DRS straight. But
Well,
Switchback and Cats going at it.
He's going for the lead, started well up in this race, and Nexus can't left and nose him, but all is good. Switchback is still in the lead.
So Switchback will be trying to pull out a gap. So I think it's a good position for Switchback so far. He's in P1 currently. So Nexus Cats weren't quite able to defend the lead that he had. Those Panda got very close to the back of Cats for a moment. That's going to put him under threat to Donzo. Onto the podium, just about finds his way past Matt.
Front four and Switchback, Cats, Panda and Donzo. We've got a 5-second gap to Brutus now. We've just overtaken Lee.
We've got Lee, yeah, I was going to say, we've got Lee and Brutus side by side. Jamie has left the
Jamie's
session.
lagged out.
Yeah.
I mean, his car's been upside down for most of the race. So.
I think that's just you, Paul. Lee trying to go around the outside, couldn't quite make it work, the penultimate corner. Just going to lose him just a little bit of time. He's currently running in P6.
Up next, the Cats has got DRS on Switchback, coming down to turn 1. Switchback using the inside.
Switchback just got overtook by Cats. He didn't put up an awful lot of a fight.
The Nexus Cats has got DRS for the second one as well.
So he's using that DRS to defend the position. He's going to make things a little bit tougher for Switchback, but he will have DRS in just a few corners time to get through this S section and then the 2 hairpins, and he will have a nice little boost to DRS. Open up that rear flap and then he'll be trying to close up on the straight. But Panda and Donzo will seem to be in their own little battle as well. Likewise with Switchback and Cats. So get on board with this battle between Donzo and Panda, because that's a bit more closer. There's not much Panda can do. There's not much Donzo can do. Let's have a quick little flick through the grid. Let's see what's going on.
Brutus is sat in P5, 5 seconds off the lead. Wait, 5 seconds off the car in front, but he's on the medium tyre.
Well, Panda's just got through past Panda. That's a bit
Panda's
of progress
just
from
through
him.
past Panda.
No, Panda's just got passed through past Mike. There we go. But pretend it never happened. So
Well, Mikey is carrying wing damage from lap 1, so he's
Yeah.
hoping to try and drag this to the first pit stop while they're braking.
So Lee Cole's
Whenever he pits will be his first pit stop, but I'll look past that, it's fine.
Lee Cole is just over a second away from Brutus. I think Iceman and onto the podium are both in their own little battle again.
Donzo's going for the move on Panda. Agent Panda, that is, and Agent Panda's done the switchback.
So that's Panda. Defending P3's keeping his podium position for now. So a good bit of driving from Agent Panda so far. I think he'll be happy with it.
I mean, Agent Panda didn't want to start on pole, but he's currently P3, and we're halfway around lap 5, so...
He's still got a fair few laps to defend it. But
he's a third of the way
shaping
there.
up to be a good battle. Yeah, he's a third of the way there. It's shaping up to be a good battle.
And they've just gone around the outside of Matt just before that triple apex left-hander.
So that is him up into 9th, with Iceman still in his little battle but onto the podium. This will be a good one to stay on board with.
Lee's slowly falling back from that top 5 and is falling into the clutches of this battle.
Yes, I think this will be the prime opportunity for Iceman to get passed onto the podium if Lee and Connor get stuck in their own little battle.
Oh, Mattman's had a wiggle.
Mike has just got past Matt. Matt had a bit of a wiggle. This is leaving him open to a move from Junkie. Junkie's too far back to get anything done. Donzo's just past Agent Panda. I think Donzo will have DRS again.
Onto the podium, got past Lee down the straight. Lee tried to outbrake him and missed the corner entirely. Coming into turn 1.
Just Lee called things.
Oh, switch back. We've got past into first place.
He is. And he's still got Katz right at the back of him. So Katz will be trying to find his way through any moment now. He did try and stick his nose a couple laps ago. I think it was like lap 1 or 2. Did stick his nose into turn 10, so I won't be surprised if he tries to put switchback just that little bit offline to get the advantage. They are very close with each other. There's some good battling going on between the two, but there's also a battle going on between, I believe, Megatron and Cat. They are both quite close with each other. So that'll be one to have a little look at, but we'll go back on with Switchback and Cats as they both pop into the pits. They'll be coming on to run a set of mediums. I don't expect one to jump the other in the pits.
Agent Panda's also in, and he's on the podium and next ice run.
Strategically for Agent Panda, this could be good to try and regain that P3, because Donzo was stuck it out there. He's still out on the set of softs. They're going to have a lot more grip than him on that fresh set of mediums in opposition to that old set of softs. So that'll be one to keep an eye on. So I think that was Nexus Cats just coming out, just in front of Junkie. So we'll be lucky not to be out in a slight bit of traffic.
There's a Nexus Cats is now 1.9 seconds away from switchback after our pit stop.
So we've lost a fair bit of time in the pits. I don't know, could that have been because of Panda coming in? I don't think so. It's a strange one. He did seem to lose quite a lot of time off that. It's strange. I guess we may never know. But Cat is coming up to the back of Leak Hole now.
There's a Cat is in a banana sandwich.
He is. Now Lee will be hoping to find a button on the steering wheel that says kill, that he can drop a banana peel behind him, maybe get rid of Cat for a bit, help his teammate out.
I will say someone wants to fund the RSPCA because I don't think you're allowed to put a cat in a banana sandwich, but...
I don't think I put a cat in a sandwich in general, Paul. Never mind a banana one.
Well, you always try.
Yeah, you tried. But that is Matt, he's had to spin outside the hairpin before 9 and 10. So Gleekop run quite a bit wide there, just before the bend down corner.
Donzo and FTRL Panda are in the pits.
They are. So where will they come out? Let's see. Donzo and Agent Panda's one to definitely have a look at. Donzo has just about got out in front of Panda. He's on a set of soft mediums as well. So Donzo just making the overcut work.
Next is Iceman's just gone round the outside of one of the podium into turn 1, turn 2. Not the podium has the DRS.
So a good move from him there onto podium.
Try and go on the outside of next is Iceman.
Trying to find any way to defend that position. Couldn't quite make it work. You will be coming to the DRS zone in a minute.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag.
It is.
It is indeed.
Don't think he'll be happy with that, unfortunately. I had nothing to do with that.
Medium tyres.
I think I'm happy to say I had nothing to do with that.
I mean, I think you did personally.
I think I didn't personally.
Well, Brutus is in pit lane.
So we'll see where that brings him out. But this battle between Cat and Lee, it's getting close. Cat's dove down the inside of Lee. Lee holds it around the outside.
FTRL Panda's right there.
Panda is boxed in between Cat and Lee. There's not an awful lot he can do there. So be side by side.
The outside of Cat.
Final corner, Cat doesn't give the room. I think Cat getting his claws out there with Panda.
I mean, it is possible to go side by side around there, but
hey ho. It's Cat down the inside of Lee. Can't quite make it work. So we'll have another opportunity in a corner's time. I wouldn't be surprised if Lee defended from that as hard as he could. But he's sticking to the outside line. Well, Lee's trying to hold the outside.
Panda's gone up inside of Ross as well in the background.
Lee backing out into the S section. Personally, I was hoping he would have stayed with him. So Panda nipping down the inside.
Junkie Sports race has gone from bad to worse as his teammate's ghost car came in the pit in front of him, so he's also being held in the pits.
It's not the best of nights, a Junkie, unfortunately.
And Nexus Cat was 1.9 seconds behind Switchback from the pit. He's caught that gap back into DRS range.
So the race for the race win is back on.
Oh, Brutus on fresh softs has just got past Agent Panda.
That was Panda down into P5 and Brutus up into P4. Am I right by saying Brutus is running the alternate strategy? I'm sure he was running a set of mediums earlier on in the race.
Next Cat is down the inside of Switchback for the race lead. That's the move done, but Switchback will have DRS.
I think it'll be Cat who has it. Oh no, yeah, Switchback does have it.
It's not what she could use it for. Cat in the background down the main straight. Blocks off the Switchback attempt, but Cat will have DRS.
She will. Oh, Cat will definitely be trying to fight for that position. This is a matter of Panda's got to try and pull a bit of a gap now. Which looks like he's doing. He seems a bit better on traction. He's running the soft tyre, mind you. So he does set a faster sector 1. I have no doubt the DRS into 1 out of that.
Next Iceman is on the back of Agent Panda. Now Agent Panda not liking his medium tyres as he did the softs. Iceman with the DRS side by side already. We'll get the move done before the braking zone.
Iceman's managed to pull a bit of a gap onto the podium. So we got the move done and he's now pulling out a gap. He'll be trying to chase down Brutus. He's only 2.3 seconds up the road. So that'll be his next target on the list. He has got 4 laps to go, so he's got plenty of time to try and get it done.
FTRL Panda's currently on a lap with purple sector 1, purple sector 2. He's going very quickly at the moment in Panda.
That switch back down the inside into turn 1, putting his nose there. Couldn't quite get it. We were trying to compromise him out of 3, but didn't quite work too much. He's still 6/10 behind Cats on the run down into 4.
Panda goes quickest. He's pulled away from FTRL Cat. He's just been overtaken by Zumpy.
And Zumpy is on the hard tyre. They've been on their tyres for the same amount of time. But this battle between Cats and Switchback will be getting good in a minute. Now coming up to the end of the race. So I believe Panda is right close to onto the podium. So we'll get those two ready on the other side of our screen, on the driver select, while we see what's going on between Switchback and Cats. He's starting to get up to the back of them. It's only 2 tenths behind. That's 4 tenths now. So Switchback's definitely trying to put his foot down.
FTRL Cat's come back at some point.
There's Cat back up into 9th. Onto the podium's not far off Agent Panda now. We'll be trying to get P6 off him. So Iceman does run a little wide.
What straight line speed does Switchback have? Let's have a look. We've got DRS on Cats. Cats has got very good straight line speed in that Williams. He's nowhere near close enough to have a look.
He did have a look last lap and he was around the same distance, so he's probably thinking it's a better idea to tuck in and have a pop of 4. He's going to try the outside. He's not going to get much done there. He tries to get the traction, but there's not much he can do.
Look at Donzo in the background.
Let's see, Donzo just about defends it. Yellow flag sector 3 for Matt. Yeah, it's onto the podium, through into 6th. Well, Cat's still in this battle with Zumpy. So the two of them are in their own little battle. Having a quick flick through, Brutus is still fighting with Donzo. The Brutus is going to try the inside before Bendal's corner. Yep, managed to get through.
Brutus on those soft tyres. I think he's seen Nexus Iceman coming very quickly.
They're going to have to get a move on. Iceman runs wide a little bit. He's closing up to the back of Donzo and Brutus. There's still a chance he can get a podium. It's looking like it's a slim chance, but still a chance. He will have DRS and a run down to 1, I believe, as he opens that rear flap.
Zumpy and Cat are still fighting each other for this 9th place.
Yeah, trying to. Cats is looking for the inside line. Not much.
Oh!
It's getting close onto brakes. That's Zumpy going for the switchback on Cat. So it'll be around the outside of 2. Now, who's going to have DRS? Zumpy's got DRS. So he's going to use that to try and defend, but he's going to hold the outside line, but Cat on the inside, putting his nose in. That was close. A good bit of racing there. Zumpy managed to defend his position. The gap between Cats and switchbacks not really changing. Still staying within 5 tenths of a second.
Iceman is on the back of Donzo. Try and run the outside. There's a bit of contact.
Making a drift through. I think that's 10-11.
And FTRL Panda's on the back of his teammate now.
That's allowed onto the podium to get a lot closer to Iceman.
Right, now we'll see what Switchback's got. Start of the last lap. Can you get past Nexus Cats? He's got very little ERS.
He's only 3 tenths. He's going to have to stick his nose down. He's got to make a move as quick as he can.
Nexus Cats leaves the room.
He managed to get through in front. There's still a DRS zone splitting them. So we'll see if Switchback can use that to his advantage. Maybe get a nice little switch back. He goes around the outside. He's trying to hold his nose in around the outsides of the S section.
It's ballsy players from both of them. Very good driving to keep it side by side through there.
There's no contact either. It's a good driving from the 2. Switchback couldn't quite get the overtake made. There's still another opportunity or 2 to get it done. He's right on the back of Cats.
Switchback, 9% ERS. It's not going to be enough, I don't think.
It's going to be close. It was a little deep into 11.
First time mistakes like that. Switchback was deep. What can he do? We've only
He'll
got one
need...
corner left.
It's looking like Cat might just about have it. This was too far back to make a move.
Looks like that superior ERS management from Nexus Cat is going to hold on and give him this win.
Yes,
Driven
good
very
drive
well, and
from Nexus Cats.
he very nearly spun it going across the line.
And that is Nexus Cats in P1 with Switchback in P2. Brutus has took P3 with Donzo in 4th, Iceman 5th. Onto the podium in 6th. Panda has got ahead of his teammate. I doubt there was too much of a fight put up for that. That's Panda in 7th and Agent Panda in 8th. Zumpy defending well against Cat. He's P9. Cat's got no front wing. No, he does have front wing. He's missing an end plate. So Lee Carl in P11 with Mike in P12. Quick Harp in P13. Megatron 14th. Unfortunate race tonight for Junkie has started to fall away from him. He will be coming around to take 15th in a moment or two's time. And then we've got 16th is Jamie and 17th Matt.
The good news is you didn't jinx Lee on his birthday. So
I didn't.
He won't be coming to hunt you down. So.
He won't be trying to find me in Scousland. I'm safe for a week. Now I'll get back to Kirsten next week. A good bit of racing between Cat and Switchback. Switchback couldn't quite get the move done.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Your driver of the day. You've had 2 decent races.
That's a tough one. I don't know. For me, it's between Zumpy and Panda. The Zumpy did have that comeback in race 1 at Abu Dhabi, and he done a fantastic job to hold off Cat, who was definitely showing a fair bit more pace, but Zumpy was definitely showing how good his racecraft is, and managing to hold him back cleanly without making contact. So I think I'll have to give Zumpy my driver of the day.
I mean, personally, I'm giving mine to Agent Panda.
He did a good job to finish 8th.
He dropped 7 places, but he's held off some of the quickest guys in there, and he's finished 8th. Like, for him, that's a win. Like, he's driven his little socks off.
His little socks. Yeah. I think you would definitely be happy with that result. I think to be able to... He held on to the lead for 2 laps as well, so I think he'll be happy with that as well. Because he's not exactly up at the front a lot, so to be able to, give him the opportunity to be up at the front and have a little bit of a dice about with them, I think that'll have made him a little happy. I think he'll be happy with that. So, we will run through what we've got going on for the rest of this week and next week. Have a little look at the calendar for next Wednesday's F1 races. So next Wednesday we will be at the Hungaro Ring and at Silverstone. So a good couple of tracks Wednesday. Got basically the Monaco without the barriers. And Silverstone, which hosted the first ever F1 race 70 years ago today. There's a little fun fact. Everyone's been going on about it. It's F1's 70th birthday. I've been able to escape it. It's been everywhere. No one stopped talking about it. So tomorrow will be season 8 for the GT Sport Championship. GT2 will be running Alsace and Autopolis with commentary from Aaron, am I right?
I believe so, yes.
So good luck to everyone having to listen to Aaron doing commentary for an hour and a half. And then GT1, I'm not entirely sure who will be doing comms for that.
I think it's Zach, aka Switchback.
So I'll switch back again doing comms for GT1. There will be the Blue Moon Infield A, which is basically an Aldi version of Catalonia, and then we will have Hash Brown Racing Circuit of Blue Moon Speedway.
We will indeed.
So a good couple of races tomorrow for the GT2 lads. For all those who have been watching throughout the races, it's Peteman for sure. I think a little message to Lee, you're welcome for me not cursing you, and a message for Carl, no, I didn't curse you. For those who've watched through all the way, because we did have about 13 to 15 viewers at one point, thank you for watching, and we shall see you next week when you're being tortured by our two voices.